morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Thank God. Yes, what brought you this morning?
Okay. I've been through an experience that it's past though, but I just need to talk about it with you. That is why I'm here.
Right.
Yes.
And thank you for coming. And also, before we move on, I want you to be very sure of what I'm going to discuss. With the confidentiality form that we signed, I believe that we all went through and have understood that whatever we're going to discuss here will just be within the four corners of this wall. We'll go out and the statement from keep it safe, and I'll let you know how and where we end the session. So I want to assure you of that. Now, your issue is safe, whatever we're going to discuss is safe, and confidentiality is one of the key and also one of the rules that's going to help us to go through this section.
Okay.
So feel free, relax, and let's talk.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I was once married.
Right.
Yes. And though I was married, I didn't really get to experience the marriage life. A lot happened. And though it's past, sometimes I sit back and all those memories keeps on, popping, it comes back. Yes.
Sorry, if I may understand, you said you have once married, meaning that now you are divorced.
Yes, please. Now I'm divorced.
Wow.
Yes.
Sorry.
So, in my previous relationship, as I said earlier, I didn't really get to enjoy the marriage
Okay.
because of the kind of experience I had with my ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I sit down to blame myself. There are other times I push the blame on him. There are other times I push the blame on those around me, and it kind of sometimes it weighs on me. Yes, though I've moved on. When it comes back to mind, it kind of worries me. Yes. So I want to talk about it. When my husband and I were together, though we were married, we didn't really live in the one house. Yes. I was in my station, and then he was also living in a different area or in a different town. And I was so consumed with work that I didn't really have time to be going there for more often.
Okay.
And sometimes I think that act, pushed him in doing that, maybe in breaking up us apart.
Okay.
Sometimes that's how I think about it.
Okay, so
Yes,
if I'm understanding very well, meaning that you are staying in different places.
Yes, we're staying in different places. Yes. And
Your husband.
yes. So I didn't really get to stay with him in a home for a period.
Okay.
The longest time we've been together, maybe 1 month, sometimes 2 weeks. Yes. And even with that 1 month, I think way before we got married. But after we got married, it's been 1 week. Sometimes in about 3 months' time, I go and spend about 1 week and then I come back.
So you mean you spend more time with your work than your husband?
That is it.
Really?
I really spend so much time with the work than my husband. So when we got married, it took us some time before I conceived. So during the time of conception, I was still in my station and I spent most of the time alone.
Okay.
So during those periods, though I really didn't really pay attention to that, but I felt that after the incident occurred, I felt that I had lost a lot within those periods. because things that I assumed to be normal, after things came to full, I realized that they were not normal.
Okay.
Yes, like staying apart for so long without being together. That I previously I thought it was normal. It's not.
It's not, you can understand, meaning that you want to add some spirituality to it.
Not
As I say, it's like
not
normal.
exactly, but the fact that I stayed away from him for some, working with excuses of work and stuff, I thought it's normal.
Okay.
But after the incident of breakup and seeing another lady in the picture, I came to realize that it wasn't normal. That
Okay.
I should have been visiting. That is how I'm trying to. Yes. So when I gave birth, my daughter was about 2 years old and she fell sick seriously. So I needed to take her to see a specialist.
So before you continue,
Mhm.
how do your husband take it when you are away, not coming?
He was not complaining that much. He was not complaining that much. So I also felt that maybe it was okay, it was normal.
Do you really communicate? You be calling him?
Yes, the communication was there, but I don't know. Maybe I took things for granted, or he was also on a different maybe agenda or something. That is why he also. But I felt that it was okay for me, and in actual sense, it wasn't.
Okay.
So when my daughter fell sick, I took her to the hospital in Accra, and I visited. So during those times, he was, according to him, he was living with a friend.
Okay.
Yes, so I was living in a different town,
Different
but
town.
yes, so
With your daughter?
yes, with my daughter.
Okay.
Yes, so I wasn't visiting regularly.
Does he also visit or?
Once in a while, yes. So I got there, and he had earlier made me aware that he was living with a friend. So
Male friend?
yes,
Or
a male friend. So in my mind, he was living with a male friend. So I took my daughter to the hospital, and then later on, we had to take some scans, and so I had to sleep over. So I slept over, and then the following day, I took her back to the hospital. When I came, I had to return to my station that the same day. So when we returned, I met a lady, and then she introduced herself to me. At that time, my husband wasn't around. So the lady introduced herself to me, and then I also introduced myself to the person. And later on, the lady was like, but I knew that before then, my husband brought a 2-year-old boy to my station.
Okay.
And that the boy was, the mother was sick, and that the boy needed somebody.
Okay.
So because of the work that I do, I have to help out. So I helped out. And then later on, I realized that the lady was like, oh, the boy is my husband's son. I was like, oh, how? Then she said she is the mother
The mother.
of, yes. So it was then I got to know that they were together and that they had a son. And the boy is even older than the child that I have with him. So in fact, I didn't really take the news well. So I did whatever I had to do, and then I came back.
You might be worried.
Yes, I was. Worrying is under, I don't know how to put it, but it's an understatement.
Yeah.
I was really, really annoyed, and feel like anger was within. I had a feeling of like, I don't know how to explain it to you. So I came back to my station immediately. I couldn't even go. I went to my work. I tried to stay strong, but I couldn't. So I approached a lady. I spoke to the person about it. And she said, oh, immediately I saw your face, I knew that something was wrong with you. So she helped me, you know, spoke to me about it. So later on, I involved my parents,
Okay.
and I just wanted to, at that point, I wanted to let it out and see how best I can deal with it. Yes, so I spoke to my parents about it. And according to them, they cannot tell me what to do. So it was up to me to take my own decision.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'll be sorry that I didn't.
Yes, I was filled with sadness. Yes. So later on, I took a decision
Okay.
that I cannot continue with it. So the necessary arrangement was done. I went to see his people, gave them their whatever, their shinap or whatever back.
Okay.
And then it was,
Call it off.
yes. And as soon as that was done, I felt relieved. And I'm still thinking about it that it shouldn't be that you were married and after you divorced you feel so relieved as if nothing has happened to you. Though the scene, whatever the experience that I had broke me down. But immediately you know, I
You left off
left, yes, the
the
marriage.
marriage.
I was okay, I felt free, relieved
Okay.
to move on with my life. So though it's been some time now, sometimes I sit back and then
Reflect on.
when I reflect on it, sometimes that kind of anger comes back because of my child. It comes back. But I've really tried to work on
Overcome.
this. Yes, to overcome the situation.
Okay.
That is why
Okay.
I just want to talk about
About
it with
it.
you.
All right.
See.
Right. I've understand and understood what you wanted to. I think it's part of life, and it's an experience that anybody can go through. But what I would say is that it has happened, and you must understand that it's a situation. And you previously said that you have really overcome it. But at times when you are alone and reflect on, feel like you have to talk about it. So I want to tell you that whatever has happened, just let it go, and life must continue. But I want to ask you, do you have any childhood experience concerning what the situation now?
That's in my parents.
Parents.
So I grew up with my parents. They were such a lovely couple.
Okay.
Yeah, though they had arguments. But my dad was always around. My mom, she was a trader, so she was always taking care of us. My dad was working somewhere. He would normally come around, but he was consistent, trying, making sure that everything is okay. You're in school,
Okay.
and they are still there.
United. Say married.
Yes, they are still married.
I want to know, is any of your siblings have been through this situation?
Oh, okay. For that, yes. Not my direct siblings, but my cousins.
Okay.
I think two of them have also gone through such an experience. Yes,
Okay.
and they are still married. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and my aunties too. My mother's line too. Some of them
Okay.
experienced that.
So I want to let you know that this situation is a situation that you are already familiar with it because it's part of your family.
Yeah, sometimes when I reflect, I get the idea that maybe it's a rare occurrence of that situation that is happening to me. Yes, but sometimes I push that thing off my mind. That Joe, it crosses my mind sometimes.
Okay, yeah, it will cross your mind because it's an event, and I believe that you are not expecting it that way. But that's happened. So I want you to understand that this situation must not rule your life. You have a better life to live. Therefore, you can still move on. But I want to know that I want to ask: do you have some friends that you go out with, or some group of people that you go out with?
No, I don't really. I'm not that outgoing type. I go to work, come back, church. But I don't have friends.
Really?
That is it.
Okay.
Yes, but I sometimes, and I don't talk about my problems to people.
Okay.
Yeah, that is why I've come to see you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So do you have any particular thing that you when you do you are a little bit
Oh yes, I
happy.
have that. That has kept me alive.
Okay.
I have so many things that I do.
Okay.
I watch movies.
Okay.
Yes, and I like listening to music.
Okay.
Most of the time I go out. I have a colleague who
Okay.
normally takes me out.
Okay.
Though I don't have friends, I have
Okay.
one or two
Okay.
who I also like going out, chilling and stuff. Most of the time I'm with them and go out sometimes. But most cases, if I'm not around, if I'm not at work, I'm in my room.
Okay.
Yes. But I watch music, I listen to music.
Okay.
That keeps me going.
Then I will encourage you to do the thing that makes you happy, and also friends that comes around you to encourage you move out with them. I think they will also be of an help to you. At this moment, we are going to end the section, and I believe that the next section will discuss more and go deep with the issue. But I want to encourage you that it's a situation that's happened, let it go,
Okay.
and let's move on.
Okay,
And I
thank you.
think we'll have.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you too.